I'm asked often, why am I running? It's really no more complicated than a little phrase that our team is using around the district. We've had enough. We have emphatically had enough. We've had enough of an ever-expanding central government that's 1,000 miles away from us, that are not listening to the cries of the people. We've had enough of overspending, that a government that is increasing their spending by 20%, while most of American families are decreasing their spending by 20%. We're going in the opposite direction. The families, the people that make America great are hurting, while their government and its representatives are spending money. I'm bothered by that trend, and I have had enough. My family has had enough. Your family has had enough. The neighbors, the people that I know, our church members, our friends and neighbors, our co-workers, we've had enough. And so based upon the fact that enough is enough, it is time for men and women like myself to engage their government like never before, and to get back to what our founding fathers intended for us to follow, and that is our Constitution. That we have responsibilities and authority that is given to us, just as there is authority given to the states. I believe that the federal government, like a raging river, has expanded upon the barriers and the boundaries of its banks. And unfortunately, it is flooding all of America with its encroachment. And what is lost as a result of that are our personal freedoms, our personal liberties. It is time for us to push that river back within its design banks, to run properly as intended, to have a function that our founding fathers knew was needed, but not to encroach upon the personal liberties, the personal freedoms that are given to us in our Bill of Rights. So I've had enough, and now I have the privilege in my life at this point in time to act upon those feelings. You know, America is hurting like never before when you look at our unemployment rates. You know, we're at a 10% unemployment rate right now in America. But if you factor in the underemployed, people that are working part-time jobs and they're working 20 hours a week when they really need to be working 40 hours a week, when you look at the people that have left the job market altogether because they can't find a job, I believe that that unemployment rate swells, doubles to 20%. All my life, I've known the American people to be hardworking people, creative people, brilliant people. And we're just not happy unless we're working. We want to work. We want to produce. We understand that through free markets, that through capitalism, that through risk and reward, that when we work hard and we have honest dealings, that we will have benefit, we will have profit, we will have the ability to take our gains and improve our life, but not just our life, but the lives of those around us, the needy. America is the most benevolent country the world has ever known. Right now, there are countries around this world who have been devastated by natural disasters. And America, quickly, fastly, has responded to those needs, as we always do, as we always will, and as we have always done. But I believe that that can only happen through the prosperity of jobs. Jobs. We have a president that talked about jobs for 7 days after his State of the Union address, and then immediately ran straight back to health care. The number one issue in this country right now is that Americans who love work are not being able to work the way that they have that need deep within their soul. I think another thing that bothers me, that tells me that I've had enough and that the American people have had enough, is in the area of government spending. Government spending has increased 20% over the last year, while you and I and our friends and neighbors have reduced their spending 20%, 30%. But government that doesn't produce anything can only spend more when it takes from the people. I believe it is time for the United States government to say no, to say that the weight, the burden, the yoke that we've placed upon the people is too heavy. Now, what that means is we have to practice some discretion, some discipline. We have to cut a little bit. We have to say no. This past year, Susan and I spent a little less on the girls for Christmas because it just wasn't there. And instead of putting a bunch of expense on credit cards, we decided that we were just going to pay cash for everything. And we would have a little less, but on the night of December 25th, our children will have received gifts from their parents, but they would be paid for. We lived within our means, and I believe that's what the federal government, which is very unfamiliar with that, should live within its means.